Because our guest today is the outgoing commissioner for special duties, and is going to be the soon-to-be commissioner for physical planning and urban development. That's we have with us Engineer Tayo Bamgbose. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Bamgbose Martins.
That's
Welcome to the show, sir. Good to have you. So, as an outgoing commissioner for special duties, we heard that there's going to be quite a few launches of fire stations coming up very soon. And we're interested in that story because in the recent times, there have been issues of not just building collapses, but fire, shops getting set ablaze, or maybe tankers. Even just, we saw read in the papers today that a tanker was went ablaze on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Stories of fire incidents across the state. Tell us the need for these stations and how you plan to launch, and what do you plan to launch in coming days?
Well, thank you, and good morning again. Thank you for having me. Let me first make a correction quickly. Outgoing Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, but I am already Commissioner for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development.
Okay.
Now, hearing what you've just said, all of this falls under the armpits of what we call safety and emergency management. Okay. I don't like using the word disaster management, but that's what it is really. So we say emergency management. And this is how it goes. When the administration came in, one of the first things we did was to do almost what you call like a diagnosis of the situation, looking at where we are in terms of the infrastructure, the resources we have, and even the level of service that we can offer in the emergency management services. So what we did was, we did what you call a roadmap. A roadmap for the fire services, a roadmap for Lagos State Emergency and Management Agency, and a roadmap for Safety Commission, because these are the three agencies that fall under the purview of special duties and intergovernmental relations. So from the roadmap, then we came up with what you call a gap analysis, where we're able to see what is lacking, what is missing, what needs to be done to upgrade our level of service and get us to where we should be. When we talk about upgrading, really it's just about prompt response, our response time, how we're able to respond quickly to these emergencies, because that saves more lives. It saves properties. Because you've talked about building collapse, fire, explosions, floods, so many things like that. And a lot of these things do happen, whether we like it or not. We say, God forbid, but they will happen. They do happen. Lagos State is a state that is heavily populated. And, you know, with success story, which is Lagos, there comes the price. The price we pay is in these areas of emergencies that occur. So we are saying, let's be proactive. We are expecting that it will happen. We don't want it, but it happens. So we want to be proactive and prepare for it. So, and that's what takes us to the issue of the need to ensure that there's an increase in infrastructure. We've been able to determine how many fire stations we require. Let's even start from the basics.
How many do we have now?
16. So that's what I'm saying. Let's start from the basics. The basics is 6 that we have about 20 local governments and 37 LCDs. So in truth, we should not have less than 20 to start with. And then in terms of our desire, we should have about 57 at the minimum.
So across the 20 and the 36?
That's right. That's what I'm saying. So we say, okay, we have 16. It's work in progress. We must keep building this fire station until we get to that point. So right now, we have about 6 in progress. And then out of the 6, we'll be commissioning 4 next week. That's what we're saying. So we get to 20.
Are they all spread across the local governments, or they are concentrated in certain areas?
Okay, the 4 will be commissioning. 1 will be in Lagos Island, because we didn't have anyone there. The only one that's on the lake, we didn't. The only one we had there, we only have there is Federal. There's a difference between the Federal Fire Station, and we collaborate, we work together, but then we don't have to wait and depend on them. So we have one at Ibute-Elefun, Lagos Island. We have another one that's going to be commissioned by Mr. Governor. That's the fire headquarters here at Alausa here. It's been upgraded. You know, you will see it by next week. The standard is
Top-notch.
top-notch. And then we have one in Jeremy, Ifelodun. We have another one, again, in Oniru. So those are 4. We have 2 others in construction. We have one at Ijede. It's under construction. We have
the sound of that. Let's cover some other areas.
Ijede, that's in the Ikorodu area.
Okay.
Then we have one at Ijegun-Egba. Do you know where that is?
I believe that should be after Alimosho. Ijegun, I know Ijegun. Let me describe. I know Ijegun. After you pass Sele, then you now enter down, right?
Okay.
I'm on the right track, sir.
You're trying. You're getting there.
Yeah, so I know that it's around.
But
that.
let me help you.
I didn't even attempt to describe.
Let me help you. Let me help you. It's closer to where we call the tank farm area.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
you have a
You
lot
say
of
tank
tank
farms, I already
farms.
know area. That's the neighbors area.
Exactly. So you understand it's
Oh,
strategic.
very. In fact, you need like 10 there.
No, they can't. But
Because Nima every day
You're right.
complains
Yeah,
that
you're right.
they have, we can't be having
No,
trucks
you're right.
there.
We're actually talking with the tank farm owners on
To also have their
own within that
Awesome,
area.
awesome.
So that's that. And then that's in the area of infrastructure. And then again, the governor, he's very serious. It's priority for him. Emergency management is priority. Rightly so anyway. So there's been a procurement of 62 firefighting vehicles.
Okay. That's the trucks.
The trucks,
Okay.
the aerial ladder, the water tankers,
nice.
the trucks, they complement each other.
Yeah.
So we are going to commission about 62
Wow.
next week.
Really?
By the way, we're going to have a road show on Sunday.
Oh, wow. So they're going to be driving around town.
That's right.
From where to where, so we can come and take pictures.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. So we hope that on Sunday we'll be able to take them around, show them, let people see where the money is being spent. Look,
62 trucks. Wow.
there's a whole
That's a
lot to
lot.
be done.
And they well kitted your firefighters.
Standard.
Oh, yes.
And well trained.
Oh, no, in fact, I was about to get to that. The governor employed about 100 late last year. They went through training. And then we have another 435 that will be graduating. So altogether, since last year to now, we are going to have about 535 new firefighting people, officers. So there's going to be a parade next week.
Okay.
Because it's going to be a passing out parade
From
and
where
all
to
that.
where, so that we can, can we
No,
watch?
no, no.
Or it's
Yes,
just
you
gonna
can watch. We invite you. We'll give you the cards.
Will it be streamed live?
Yes, it
People,
will.
Okay.
It will be
Nice,
streamed
nice.
live.
Okay,
So
good.
they're going to, it's going to be
Right,
a march
Mr. Edwin,
past
another
and all that, It's going to be a ceremony.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is that, by the way, the first day will be at Marriott.
Okay.
We call it an emergency day. That's to kickstart everything.
Right.
And that's on Tuesday next week. It's an emergency day. We're going to have symposium and all that, speakers, panelists, and all that.
So my next question was, let me just ask, I don't know if you're going to address it. So
Yes.
given the population density in Lagos State, what provisions are we making with all these trucks to also just, educate Lagosians on how to on fire prevention? So much more than, getting these things so that, we can also from our back end work alongside government.
Yeah. Advocacy has been one of the things that we've always, and we keep doing it. We keep doing it, talking to the people, having programs like this, going to the market, town hall meetings, community engagement, and all that. We've been doing that. And the message is simple. One is that we need to be emergency and safety conscious. That's why we have Safety Commission doing a lot, collaborating with fire services.
But at the event at Marriott, will that also be a segment of the program to actually enlighten people?
Oh, yes, it is part of the focus. It is. And also an opportunity to showcase the work that has this. It's like a rendering of stewardship. Of this
I like the
administration.
sound of it. But for me, one thing is to have all this beautiful infrastructure and have these fire trucks, the firefighters. When the fire does happen, our issue is timing. What time do you get there? What are the emergency? Are they working the emergency numbers for us to call and know that within 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes, the trucks are coming through, or they have a partnership with either LASMA or whatever to clear the roads? How do you ensure that these are properly utilized and they are fit for purpose?
The first thing, like we said, is to station these things everywhere.
Yes.
That's the first thing, and that's work in progress. The second thing is our command and control center.
Yes.
Where we have the response to 112 and 767, the emergency numbers.
Yeah.
And the moment these calls come in, immediately they're escalated to the appropriate agencies. It's LASEMA, it's the fire services, and a lot of times they collaborate, they work together. And in terms of response time, yes, I must tell you that it is work in progress. It is work in progress because, of course, we have the problem of traffic here and there. But then let me speak to the public and take this opportunity to say, look, when we have a situation where you see a firefighting truck or an emergency vehicle on the road with the siren and all that, it is important that our people need to understand that they need to step aside, give way, and allow them to get there. A second thing, which you've always experienced, but it's gone down now. What I'm about to say is that whenever they get there, you find hoodlums. You know, I'm sorry that I have to use that word, hoodlums. You know, you find people.
Good boys.
Well,
The
you say
good boys of Lagos.
Yeah, good boys. But how are they going to be good if they are stoning our fire trucks, stoning our emergency officers? Are they being good? No. So for them to be good, it's important that people should respect them. The minimum you can do is step back and allow them to do their job. So it is work in progress, but I can assure you, with new infrastructure, with new firefighting trucks, then with new training and all that, trust me, our response time will improve.
Okay, so what
tremendously.
numbers will Lagos State also just make these things very communicate these things to the general public? People don't know. People are not aware that these things are. So we need to run campaigns. Yeah, a lot of people are not aware.
Sure? Okay.
So we need to run campaigns to just educate people that this is in place. Call these numbers. Just make
Okay, so I think
let me say the numbers are 767-112.
Oh, how is it 121? Oh, 112.
It's 112. Let me tell you what happened a couple of days ago.
767-112.
Someone actually called 122, and he was castigating us. I escalated because I felt, I felt upset that he called 122 and he couldn't get a response. If I wanted to fish out the person responsible, by the end of the day, I found out that he called the wrong number, 122. So the number is 112.
767.
If you want, just remember 112 or 767 because sometimes.
And I think that we should set it up as emergency numbers on our phones, because by default our phones are wired to call emergency numbers when we have challenges. But
Yes,
if we save the numbers in our emergency, and many phones have this slot for emergency numbers. But I want to take you to a question of, let's deal with the roots of the issue. Why do people not move away from the roads when they hear siren? Why do people feel like when crisis happens, disaster happens, and we see the fire trucks, why do we not respect the fire trucks? So the real issue is building the trust of the Lagosian to the system, to trust that this system is trying to work for me. And that is not by having lectures or meetings in Marriott or in a hotel. That is creating a culture that you start seeing people connecting with. And we've had it in Lagos where Lagosians felt the government knows and the government cares. And I think it should fall under special duties to raise that awareness or getting people to be more connected to, my government is thinking of me. When I hear the siren, it is for my good, not to clear me off the road.
Let me just ask this question. Is government, now we have 20, right?
Yes.
2 additional will be commissioned soon.
Yes.
Are these have you considered ensuring that they are close proximity to markets? Because this is where we have lots of fire, especially on that Broad Street area, that's Lagos Island, that area. So with other markets across the state, are we ensuring that we're positioning these fire trucks around that area so that they can get to these people?
Yes, it is part of our program. Yes, we are. We're going to deploy them strategically. And also, don't forget that there's the usual fire hydrants, which we're working on also. That's part. But let me answer what you've just thrown up. It's a proliferation of the siren. That's what it is.
Yes.
When you have a situation where almost every Tom, Dick, and Harry are using sirens all over the place, people get upset. There's an apathy and upset that you find people, and they just say, look, who are they? They've started again. So how are you going to know the one that is real?
Yes.
How are you going to know the one that is emergent? Do you understand? So you find out people, that's what happens in such situations like that. But then you're right. The program for next week is not meant to address that. It's almost like a stewardship. It's like celebrating Mr. Governor for his work that has been done in the area of emergency. But then we will continue to work with the market women, the market association, the CDAs, and so on, in order to reach to the people.
I'm just going to advise, the most effective way to make your job, the job that you just left, easy is to implement the law we have concerning sirens. Can we just go back and implement the ban on sirens only for those that are on emergency service, so that when we hear it, we only know, that this is going
The law
to
exists.
happen.
It's just not enforced.
That's what I'm saying, the law is there. Can we go back into enforcing that law? Because there was a government that did. It might really help.
Because it will make the work easier.
Yeah.
They have faster response time to even save the people that are in danger.
We have to wrap up, sir. Any final words?
Final words. The government is your friend. We're sorry about the trust deficit the trust deficit has been something that has been on, and it's almost not peculiarly known to Nigeria. It's a universal thing. And therefore, the government will continue to work to win your trust, continue to work to prove to you that this is an administration that cares about your safety and your security. But it is what I always call, I like one word I use, shared responsibility. There's a responsibility on our part, but there's also a responsibility on the public part to ensure that, please, be safety conscious, be emergency conscious, ensure that you listen and you abide by the regulations of the government, and then altogether we will have a state that we can all be proud of.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. And I think I would also give a word to all the artists and the Nollywood mood. Let's use that 112 in our movies. Let's use 112 in our songs. Let's use 112, 767. Use them. All the you're rapping about Yamala, Yalamala. Rap about 112. So people will stick to their brain that that is the number to call in case of an emergency.
Lagos.
In Lagos. In Lagos. In Lagos.